Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Junhan. Now for today's video, I'll be showing you guys the differences between Mazda's CX-30 CBU version versus CKD version, because a lot of you guys are curious the differences between both of them, and in today's video, I'll tell you everything about it. Let's go. Okay, first thing first, the elephant in the room will be the pricing itself. Now the pricing can get a bit confusing, so bear with me. That's why I'm having my phone with me now, so you can see and can check on the list whether it's correct or not. So all the way back in 2020, when Burma's Auto officially announced that they'll be bringing the Mazda CX-30 all the way from Japan to Malaysia as a CBU unit. Yeah, back then there were only 3 models to choose from. Alright, so the first model is the 2-liter G, so that's the low spec variant for 143,000. And then you got the second one is the 2-liter high. So these two are actually petrol variant. So a 2-liter high is the high spec one for 163,000, which is this right here. And then you have the top of the range variant, which is 1.8 turbo diesel engine. So that one is for 173,000. Yeah, back then it was pretty simple. There were only 3 models to choose from. Okay, so this happened from 2020 to 2021, and then 2022 they released another 2 more models. So the 2 models would be the 2-liter high Ignite. So you got the Ignite edition. Basically what happens is in the interior it has a lot of red details. Yeah, everything is all this dark red, which looks kind of cool as well. That is Ignite version. And then they also released another one, which is the Ignite all-wheel drive version. So they released the front-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive. The front-wheel drive one costs about 170,000, and then the all-wheel drive one costs about 180,000. So you can see the price is slowly going up and up, right? Alright, so in 2022 they finally announced that they'll be making the CKD version at 2023. So yep, they actually have 4 variants to choose from. So the first one, which is the 2-liter standard, so that one's pretty standard. You get 16-inch wheels. Yeah, you don't have the safety features, advanced safety features. You don't have the LED combination lights on the front and the back. Okay, then after that you get the 2-liter high. The standard one costs about 128,000. The 2-liter high costs about 136,000. And then you got the 2-liter high plus. Now it's really confusing, the name. That one is 146,000, and then the top of the range variant will be a 2-liter high plus premium. Now it's a pretty mouthful, it's pretty confusing, but yeah, that's how they put the naming structure. So that one costs you about 156,000. So that's the top of the range variant. Now to show you the differences between the CBU and CKD, right? Let's compare the high spec versus the high spec. Okay, so this basically is the high spec of the CBU version. This one is actually a 2021 unit, high spec one. Okay, so if you compare this with the high spec of the CKD version, so the CKD version actually now is actually much cheaper. So the CKD one now, the high spec plus premium costs you 156,000. Previously this car cost about 164,000. So yeah, that's almost 10,000 more. Yeah, so you're getting, so if you're now buying the CKD version, now's the best time to buy because you're getting so much. Okay, now I'm not done yet because the CKD version actually has more upgrades as compared to the CBU version. Right, firstly would be the adaptive headlights. So the old one just has auto high beam, and he also moves direction. So basically at night when there's no cars, what happens, he automatically turns on high beam, which is pretty standard. Okay, and then another one is when you're turning a steering wheel, right? The light beam actually moves according to your steering wheel, the direction of your steering wheel. Alright, so yeah, that's about it. But now, right, for the CKD version, the high one, the high plus premium, what you get is adaptive headlights. Yeah, so that's something the CBU version doesn't have, which is adaptive headlight. Basically adapts on the road. So basically if text like people, it actually points down the light so that it doesn't glare them. Yeah, it's very cool. It has a lot of features on the headlight itself. Yeah, to think nowadays modern technology, just the headlight, you can do so many things, right? It's pretty cool, right? Okay, then after that you also got the 360-degree camera. So you got a 360 monitoring system. Yeah, this one the CBU version does not have it, so the CKD version have. So basically you got cameras at the side mirrors as well, the front, the back. Alright, and then the next one you also have the advanced radar cruise control system with stop and go function. Okay, so this one, right, does not have the stop and go function. The CBU version, basically I think you can drive, I think you can only activate at around 40 km per hour. Yeah, and then it doesn't really stop and go. But the latest one, you can stop and go. Basically on traffic light, or let's say if on traffic jam, you can just turn on the cruise control, and basically what it does is it brakes until it stops for you, and then it starts going again. It brakes and then it goes again. Yeah, it's a very, very cool feature. But yeah, sadly the CBU version for this doesn't have it. Then that's when they introduced the new color as well. So they actually introduced the platinum quartz color. Yeah, it's a pretty unique color. It's a very light shade of gold. Yeah, that one sometimes I see on the road, right? It actually looks kind of cool. Yeah, on the car, like especially this one, right? This color, for me, this personally is my favorite color, the machine grey. This car looks stunning. Yeah, so you actually initially get to choose a few different variants. For example, you got a white, the snowflake white, You got a solid crystal, which looks really good under the sunlight as well. Okay, then you also have the polymetal grey, so that one's like a flat color, flat grey color, but with a bit of a bluish hint. But that time they don't have the platinum quartz, so now they introduced the platinum quartz color. A lot of people spec it and it looks really unique. So for the CKD version, only the standard, you get 16-inch rims. If you go above than that, right, everything else, actually you get 18-inch alloy wheels, which I think looks really good. This 18-inch wheel, it is a dark chrome finish, and I always think that I always love to change my car's rim because it looks really good. But then this one, you don't even need to touch it because it looks really good that way. It's not too bright and not too dark, it's just nice, and it suits this car very well. It looks very aggressive, and yeah, so overall I'm actually generally satisfied with this car. So this car I've owned for 2 years already, so it's a 2021 model, now it's 2023, and so far I haven't had any issues with this car. I'm loving it. This car, whenever I park everywhere, I just look back and look at it because the machine grey is very reflective, it's very menacing, the fierce, it's very angular because of the kudo design from Mazda. Well done to them because it really looks super duper good. Okay, so they actually, so far isn't much issue, but then there are actually a few niggles here and there. For example, the radar sensor is actually pretty sensitive. So what happens is, let's say if it's raining very heavily or you send for a car wash, right, what happens is at the speedometer there, it pops up, it tells you that the radar system is temporarily disabled because there's something blocking it or something like that. So the sensor is very sensitive, or either that or the camera on top also is pretty sensitive, but it can be good sometimes. Okay, but the bad thing about being too sensitive, again, okay, which leads to another point, that is the emergency brake. Now the emergency brake is, let's say if you're driving too close to a car, like a few fingers the distance, right, what happens is it automatically stamp on the brake for you, and then it pops up telling you stop, like that. And then same goes for the back as well. Let's say when you're reversing and then suddenly a car comes and then you automatically stamp on the brake for you, you always get a heart attack from that. And this car, it happened to me countless times, but it's actually unnecessary. Like for example, I was reversing in to a side parking lot. Okay, so as I reverse, suddenly there's this car on the right side just passed by. The moment he passed by, he automatically pressed on the brake, the emergency brake. Then everyone got scared because it actually beeps as well. It makes a noise, which is really heart pumping. Okay, same goes for the front as well. Sometimes you're driving normally, and then from the side there's a motorcycle drive by, and then suddenly this activates the emergency brake. It's really sensitive, the front and rear one. Okay, so other than that, another thing I would talk about would be the plastic cladding, because the plastic cladding is huge. What happens if it being huge is more vulnerable? So basically, if you send for a car wash, right, what happens is if they actually scratch on it, right, it's really hard to remove it, and it's very obvious. That's the bad thing about this. But this one, initially, the people don't like the CX-30 because of this, the plastic cladding. But slowly, you see more and more people actually start to accept it and start to grow on it, especially with a color like this, right? The contrast is not that big. It actually looks really good. But for me, personally, I think the white color also actually looks very good, looks very fierce because you got more contrast. But this is all about personal opinions. For me, this car is generally a very well built car and it's worth it, especially now with the CKD version even cheaper as well. This one, the interior, the exterior, the features, everything just excels well, especially for the price point you're paying for. So this car is really worth it. So I hope I clear the differences between the price, the features of the CKD versus the CBU for you guys. It's a pretty short video, but I hope that tells you everything. So if you're planning to buy one, all the best, good luck, because this car is definitely worth it. You would definitely not regret it. But of course, I've seen complaints on the Mazda CX-30 group that the waiting period is actually very long. But if you can wait, do wait, because it's actually really worth it, this car. Once you get it, trust me, you won't regret it. It's a very nice car to drive. So with that said, please remember to like, subscribe, and share your friends, and I shall catch you guys next time. Ciao.